Okay, Councillor Truscott.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would like to move this motion and speak in favour of this application because, councillors, today is a legacy-making day. The decision you make today, you will be remembered for. Either way, and the message from our collective decision will impact our community greatly. Today's decision is not just about whether or not this single application gets approved. Its impact is far greater than that. All eyes and ears are on the Fraser Coast today. We have a choice. Do we make a decision that will let our community and the country know that the Fraser Coast is open or closed for business? Make no mistake, other developers and interested people will be watching this outcome and making their decision about where they want to invest based on our decision today. I want to be remembered as someone standing up for the future of our region, and I acknowledge that, yes, this application is a game changer. A luxury 5-star resort saw the potential in our region and chose the Fraser Coast as where they want to be. That opportunity doesn't come along every day.
Please, interjecting and heckling is really not allowed. We need to allow people to speak.
Thank you, Mayor. That opportunity doesn't come along every day. In fact, other regions would be desperate for this opportunity, and we may never see another opportunity quite like this. I've had more people stop me in the street, email me, contact me about this than any other project that has ever been before Council. I would say 99% with positive support. Even on my cold early morning walks, people have stopped me and asked me to make sure that I'm going to support this project for the greater good of our region. People want to see this happen.
Please allow Mr. Truscott to speak.
Do you want doctors, specialists and high-flying business executives to visit and invest in our region? We need accommodation facilities like this here. Do you want international tourists to visit our region? We need accommodation facilities like this here. Do you want more housing diversity in our region and less over 50s villages? We need accommodation facilities like this here. Do you want young people to stay in our region? Having facilities like this here will help. We've just secured flights to Melbourne. Do we want that route to stay? Having facilities like this here will help secure that future, maybe even open up more routes. Not to mention the number of jobs that this project would create in the construction phase, but also the ongoing running of the businesses contained within the building and the economic spillover to other existing local businesses. The risk in refusing this application, the damage that decision would make, far outweighs the risk in approving this application. If anyone thinks they are voting against this motion and supporting the majority of the community, I'm sorry, but you're wrong. Remember that 2/3 of the submissions are in favour of the application. That's unprecedented, especially on a project of this scale. We all got bombarded with hundreds of emails in a campaign supporting the project, and that frustrated people, but what it should tell you is that a lot of people, the silent majority, made the effort. They spoke up and they wanted you as councillors to hear. We always get hammered in campaigns.
Please allow the speaker to continue. We'll need to close the meeting if there's not, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We always get hammered in campaigns before an application, and it's usually the 99% negative. By comparison, I have had so few people opposing the project contact me about this. The majority community do support this project. And the common comment I get is, can you please just hurry up and tell them to build it? And the community does want this, and it's our job to represent them. While the clear impacts of the proposed development's height, bulk and scale are important and cannot be ignored, neither can the potential benefits of the development. Balancing these factors is not merely a matter of adhering to planning provisions. It's about showing vision and leadership for the Fraser Coast because it's what our people deserve. The comprehensive conditions attached to this approval will ensure that every aspect, design, construction and operation, meets the highest standards. And we've been told that it is being conditioned to the highest international environmental standards, more than the current cookie-cutter developments we see regularly. The inclusion of a 5-star hotel tenant as a condition guarantees a level of excellence that will uplift our region. Remember that today is a mark on your legacy in this role. You can choose which way you want that to be. So let's choose a Fraser Coast that reflects our aspirations and hopes for the Fraser Coast. I want to finish with Nelson Mandela's quote, "May your choices reflect..." Look at it. "May your choices reflect your hopes and not your fears." So keep that in mind when you're deciding which way to vote today.
Councillor Truscott, as the mover, has the right of reply.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We are on the brink of making a decision that will shape the future of the Fraser Coast for generations to come. This is not just about approving a development, it is about showing leadership and showing vision for the Fraser Coast. As we heard, a great leader takes people where they don't necessarily want to go, but ought to be. We heard from some councillors they'd like to see a lower scale development, but I ask, where are those applications? Who's putting those in? Because I'm not seeing them. I'd also like to ask, where are the youth? They're not greatly represented in this room today, are they? But that's who I'm representing for the future of the Fraser Coast. We heard that if Kingfisher Bay Resort was put up as an application today, it would not meet the current planning scheme requirements. It took vision for the Maryborough City Council at the time to step out and give it an approval, now one of the most iconic destinations in the Fraser Coast and of the entire world. Imagine if the councillors of the day listened to fear and said no. The sports precinct is a work in progress, but it took vision and guts for this council to step up to the plate in the face of so much community backlash, but it is destined to become the location for sports in the Fraser Coast in years to come. On the flip side, the Fraser Coast Council is still remembered for knocking back a flight training school in Maryborough in the first term after amalgamation. That wasn't anyone at this table, but the organisation and those associated are marked by it. A decision that angered the community still to this day that an opportunity was lost. So what will you do? Our door has been knocked on, and how will you answer it? Being remembered for opening the Fraser Coast to growth, for business, or shutting the door and sending a clear message? We also heard from our planning manager in the agenda forum that 30 years ago the community opposed a 3-storey development, and the comments were exactly the same as they are today. We don't want the bay to change. Sorry, it has been changing and will continue to do so. We will always have the detractors on any project and on any progress, but we won't always have a 5-star resort knocking, especially if word spreads if this were to be refused. So I say, do not let your decision today be made out of fear. It takes guts to vote yes for growth. Do not let your decision be made by thinking it will make you be popular or liked. The decision today exemplifies extreme vision, the kind that requires immense courage and foresight. It is a vision that dares to dream beyond the immediate horizon, understanding that true progress is often realised through bold and audacious steps. This project will not yield its full fruits overnight. It is an investment in our future, a beacon of what is possible. In decades to come, as the Fraser Coast flourishes and thrives, our community will look back with gratitude, recognising that it was today's courageous decision that paved the way for a brighter, more prosperous tomorrow. We are laying the foundation for a legacy of growth and opportunity, one that will be celebrated by generations yet to come. Martin Luther King Jr. once said, "Faith is taking the first step even when you don't see the whole staircase." So today, I hope that we have the faith to see the benefits that approving this development can have for our region. So let us cast our votes with hope, with vision, and with a firm belief in the incredible future that awaits the Fraser Coast. And with that, due to the historic significance of this application, I'd like to call for a division for the vote so that councillors are required to stand for voting. Thank you.
Is that what happens when you call for division, you stand?
No, you don't need to.
That's not how it happens.
We can.
You can have a division, but I don't know if you have to stand.
It's not a standing thing.
Division is standing.
Well, I'll call for it, and you can call for a division if you want.
It's
But
22.4.
he, well, it doesn't say anything about standing. Oh, no. What about by standing? Okay. Oh, you call for it if you want it then. We'll now proceed to the vote. All those in favour? 6. All opposed? Well, you do it that stage. 5. This is again, that's carried 6-5.
So I'll call for a division.
Yeah, call for a division has been called. Please stand. All those in favour? Again, that's 6. Okay. That's okay. All those against, please stand.